It's 2023. Are you still bad at Blender? Well, let's look at some resources to help you get good. This video is sponsored by Rococo. I'm going to walk you through what I believe are the most efficient ways to learn Blender in 2023. First, we'll cover free learning resources, then we'll take a look at paid courses. At the end, I'll cover some places to get assets for free, and make sure to comment your favorite channels and resources below, and I apologize if I mispronounce anyone's name. Deco's channel, starting out with his amazing free character creation and rigging courses on his channel. This is paid quality for free. Polyfjord is probably the fastest growing Blender YouTube channel I've ever seen, thanks in part to their crazy 27 million views on this robotic arm tutorial. Smeef blew up the internet with his hilarious and entertaining meme-themed tutorials, but they also contain a lot of helpful content. Kaizen is another great channel that I've been exploring this year, and he has some great texturing tutorials where he talks about how to create different generators within Blender's node setup that I recommend. Bad Normals has grown rapidly this year as well and has some awesome geometry nodes abstract videos. Arendale has some really cool parametric design and geometry nodes tutorial on his channel if you're looking to deep dive. Pierrick Pacat has some astoundingly deep and clever videos on rigging. He also has a great course which I will share later in this video. CG Boost covers a variety of Blender topics, usually VFX oriented, and has a few free courses online as well. Lightning Boy Studio is your go-to source for anything toon related. They have an amazing Ghibli tree tutorial that I recommend starting with, and some great toon shaders as well. Derek Elliott has some amazing product rendering videos, and something you don't see very often in Blender. Blender Bobs focuses on the technical and fundamentals of Blender. These aren't flashy clickbait tutorials and deserve more views than they have, because he's making the videos Blender users really need. Now, this is mostly a Unity game dev channel, but he also uses Blender within his pipeline, and Thomas Brush has a free game dev course as well. I'm tossing this one on the list because I get so many comments from people asking me about Unity and Blender. Landron William uses a lot of photo scans and VFX to make some really cool artwork on his channel, and recently he's been producing some cool shorts as well. Joey Carlino has a cool series on how to make characters fast with the skin modifier. Pixel 3D does a lot of motion graphics character type work and has a lot of great content. Blender Made Easy has some amazing simulation tutorials, and I thought this fire one was pretty cool. Crossmind Studio has a lot of studio type work focused tutorials on animation, materials, and more. Sophie has an amazing grease pencil tutorial, and specifically on how to achieve certain styles in grease pencil. Blender Guru has the Blender Donut tutorial, which is the best tutorial for your first time opening Blender. Blender Secrets posts daily minute-long tips and tricks in Blender. CG Geek does a mixture of entertainment and education revolving around Blender. Ducky 3D covers amazing motion graphics and material tutorials. Grant Abbott is great for efficient modeling and has some cool video game modeling videos. Jan Sculpts has a lot of great sculpting tutorials. Gleb Alexandrov has plenty of great lighting and hard surface modeling tutorials. Josh Gambrell does a lot of videos on correct topology. Again, not clickbait titles, but incredibly useful. Ian Huberts and his famous lazy tutorials, which are equally educational and funny, plus he's also been releasing short film content recently. CG Matter is a great resource for VFX training and all crazy math potential of Blender. Curtis Holt covers the more technical sides of Blender, including development and add-ons, but he has a wide variety of content. Kev Benj works in the visual effects industry, and he has a lot of videos revolved around VFX-oriented scenes in Blender. Now, I can't possibly cover every great Blender YouTuber. There are even more I admire, but there isn't enough time for all of them, so tag your favorites in the comments below. But let's dive into some paid resources next. These courses usually offer a more advanced, concise, and focused education, which can speed up the learning process. Now, my courses are available on Gumroad and on Skillshare, and I gear them towards doing everything for the first time, such as characters, rigging, and animation, with a simple, quick, hour-long exercise. So I'll link to those below. Now, next up, we have Pierre's animation course, which I mentioned his YouTube channel earlier, but he has an amazing animation course out, and it's incredible. I went through it myself, and I'm learning quite a bit. He also has a rigging course, which I highly recommend. Now, CG Cookie is probably where I had the most success getting over that beginner's hump when I first started Blender. They have an excellent selection of beginner and advanced tutorials, and they also have a free trial. Now, CG Boost has both free and paid resources, and I highly recommend checking out his paid courses for an advanced deep dive. Ducky 3D has recently released some great courses himself on material building and motion graphics, and I know he has more on the way, so I recommend checking those out. Gleb Alexandrov, who made the excellent hard surface modeling course and photogrammetry, has a new course on lighting. Highly recommend checking out this course, as I'm taking it myself and learning quite a bit. Skillshare as an option also has a free trial, and they have a variety of content both on and off Blender. Things like composition, color, and marketing are a great way for your short films and projects. I also host some of my classes there, and I'll link those in the description. Blender Cloud is the official Blender source, so who better to teach Blender than Blender themselves? It's a great resource for intermediate users looking to become advanced. They also have all their project files available for you to study and reverse engineer. Flipped Normals, I rarely see the site appear on Blender resources list because it doesn't only cover Blender, but Flipped Normals has some affordable and advanced courses, and they have great ultra advanced courses on rigging. 2Animate recently released a great basics for animator course, and even though I would consider myself past basic, I actually found a lot of knowledge within this course because they had an entire section devoted towards animation add-ons they recommended and how to use them, and it was a great deep dive. Lastly, let's dive into some resources. Although they may not be courses or tutorials, having free resources to play with can definitely help you learn. Now, CG Trader, Sketchfab, and TurboSquid are great sources for models, rigs, and more, and they also have a free filter so that you can find models for free. Now, this next asset isn't entirely free, but Rococo has a free retargeting add-on, which I highly recommend. It's my favorite retargeting add-on that I've used, but they also have a motion library themselves with some very affordable motion capture solutions, so I highly recommend checking that out. HDRI Haven is the go-to place for free HDRIs, which you can help with lighting your scenes quickly. And I also recommend Ambient CG, which used to be CC0 Textures, and it's a great place for free PBR materials. Pexels offers royalty-free photos, which you can use for background textures and things such as that. And then, of course, Patreon. I post my project files, materials, products, and more on Patreon, but if I'm not what you're looking for, a lot of the other YouTube channels I mentioned also have their own Patreons and may have content relevant to you. Then lastly, you've probably already know this one, unless you're just getting started, but worth mentioning, Blender Market offers more than just courses. They have add-ons, asset packs, and more, and I'll be releasing some more of my content on there, so keep an eye out there. Check out my crafty asset pack. And if you're struggling to get good at Blender, just stick to it. Eventually, it just clicks, and you'll find yourself making amazing art. So please don't give up, and keep trying, and good luck on your journey. Rococo provided me a full set of their suit with facial motion capture, hand capture, and body capture. Now, Rococo uses a magnetic-based system to detect its motion, and it works over Wi-Fi, which is awesome because what this means is that anywhere with a laptop, computer, or Wi-Fi connection, you can record high-quality motion capture data without the need of a multi-million-dollar studio. If you're familiar with Ian Huberts and his Blender channel, he uses it in his videos to help motion capture and apply that data to some of his humanoid characters. I've actually been using this on some of my VR work for prototyping and recording my hands to be in the foreground. Rococo offers incredibly high quality studio level motion capture data at a much more affordable price than the competition. Now, if you're not interested in buying an entire motion capture setup, you can actually check out their library, which has affordable options to download a ton of animations that you can use in your games, animations, visual effects, and more. Of course, I'll link to everything below so you can check it out and let me know what you think in the comments below.